सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। शांति शांति। Together we will chant Kaivalya Upanishad following the invocatory prayer. भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। नो भगवन्तं परमेश्वरमुपसमेत्योवाच अदीहि भगवत् ब्रह्मविद्यां वरिष्ठां सदा सद्भिः सेव्यमानां निगूढाम् चिरात् सर्वपापं व्यपोह्य परात् परं पुरुषं याति विद्वान् तस्मै सहोवाच पितामहस्य श्रद्धा भक्तिध्यानयोगादवैः न कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन त्यागेनैके अमृतत्वमाप्नुषुः हरेण नाकं निहितं गुहायां विभ्राजते यद्यतयो विशन्ति वेदान्तविज्ञानसुनिश्चितार्थः सन्न्यासयोगाद्यथयः शुद्धसत्त्वाः ये ब्रह्मलोकेषु परान्तकाले परामृताः परिमुच्यन्ति सर्वे चित्तदेशे च सुखासनस्तः शुचिः समग्रीव शिरः शरीरः समस्तं सकलेन्द्रियाणि निरुध्य भक्त्या स्वगुणं प्रणम्य पुण्डरीकं विरजं विशुद्धं विचित्य मध्ये विशदं विशोकम् अचिन्त्यमव्यक्तमनन्तरूपं शिवं प्रशान्तममृतं ब्रह्मयोनिम् तथाभिमध्यान्तविशीनमेकं विभुं चिदानन्दमरूपमद्भुतम् उमासहायं परमेश्वरं प्रभुं विलोचनं नीलकण्ठं प्रशान्तम् मुनिर्गच्छति भूतियोनि समस्तसाक्षि तमसः परस्तात् सब्रह्मा स शिवः सेन्द्रः सोऽक्षरः परमस्वराट् स एव विष्णुः स प्राणः स कालोऽग्निः स चन्द्रमाः स एव सर्वं यद्भूतं यच्च भव्यं सनातनम् न्यायं न सत्यमत्येति नान्यः पन्था विमुक्तये सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं सर्वभूतानि आत्मनि सम्पश्यन् ब्रह्म परमं ज्ञानेन हेतुना आत्मानमरणिं कृत्वा प्रणवंशोत्तरारणिं ज्ञाननिर्मथनाभ्यासात् पाशं दहति पण्डितः माया परिभोगिकात्मा शमोनुपास्ताय करोति सर्वम् स्त्रियन्नपानादिविचित्रभोगैः स एव जाग्रत् परितृप्तिमेति स्वप्ने स जीवः सुखदुःखभोक्ता स्वमायया कल्पितविश्वलोके सुषुप्तिकाले सकले विलीने मोहभूतः सुखरूपमेति पुनश्च जन्म कर्मयोगात् एव जावः प्रबुद्धः पुरप्रतिक्रीडति यश्च जीवस्ततस्तु जातं सकलं विचित्रम् परमानन्दमखण्डबोधं स्विन्मयं याति पुरत्रयं च एकस्माज्जायते प्राणो मनः सर्वेन्द्रियाणि च खं वायुर्ज्योतिरापः पृथिवी विश्वस्य धारिणी परं परमात्मा विश्वस्यायतनं महत् सूक्ष्मात् सूक्ष्मतरं नित्यं त्वमेव तत् सुषुप्त्यादिप्रपञ्चं यत् प्रकाशते यत्त्वात्मनिति प्राप्तः प्रमुच्यते भावति यद्भोक्तं भोगं यद्भवेत् विलक्षणं साक्षी मात्रोऽहं सदाशिवः मय्येव सकलं जातं मयि सर्वं स्थितम् सर्वं लयं याति कर्तुमस्वहम् मनोरणीयानहमेव तद्वन्महानहं विश्वमहं चित्रम् पुरुषोऽहमीशो हिरण्यलोकं स्वरूपमस्मि पाणिपादोऽहमचिन्त्य शक्ति पश्याम्य चक्षुः सश्रोम्यकर्णः अहं विजानामि विविक्तरूपो सदाहम् वेदैरनेकैरहमेव वेद्य वेदान्तकृत्वेदविदेव चाहम् पुण्यपापे मम नास्ति नाशो न जन्म देहेन्द्रियबुद्धिरस्ति न भूमिरापो न च वह्निरस्ति न चालिनो मेऽस्ति न चाम्बरं च एवं विदित्वा परमात्मरूपं गुहायं निष्कलमद्वितीयम् समस्तसाक्षिं सहसद्विहीनं याति शुद्धं परमात्मरूपम् दशगबुद्धेन दीपे सोऽग्निपूतो भव सुरापानात् पूतो भव ब्रह्महत्यात् पूतो भव नित्याकृत्यात् पूतो भवति तस्मात् विमुक्तमाश्रितो भव अत्याश्रमे सर्वदा सुकृद्भासते न ज्ञानमाप्नोति संसारार्णवनाशनम् तस्मादेवं विदित्वैनं कैवल्यं फलमश्नुते कैवल्यं फलमश्नुते इति In the last class, we have been studying the topic 2, the Brahman, having the two expressions. One is the two factors. One is the manifest and the unmanifest. In this topic, we have been studying the mantras from 6 to 11. We started with the mantra 6 and we covered the few definitions. We will have that quick recap. The mantra 6, we will chant the mantra 6 again. It is one of the astonishing great definition or descriptions of Brahman, the Supreme God. The God has to be defined. God has to be put in words, the maximum. Actually, God or the Supreme Reality or Brahman, all are synonyms. The God cannot be defined, cannot be captured with thoughts and ideas, cannot be put in the box of intellect, because God is beyond the human comprehension. It is not an object. It is the subject within which helps the intellect to think various thoughts. It is not the object of comprehension. Therefore, what we get to this Upanishadic understanding and various definitions and descriptions help us to have some kind of idea so that we will hook on to the ideas of Brahman and grow spiritually till we reach that transcendental state. It helps all the way. So, the mantra 6, chanting. Achintyamavyaktamanantarupam Shivam prashantamamrutam brahmayonim Tathadimadhyantavihinamekam Vibhum chidanandamarupam Achintyamavyaktamanantarupam Shivam prashantamamrutam brahmayonim Tathadimadhyantavihinamekam Vibhum chidanandamarupam. The verse, the mantra translation, inconceivable, achintyam, inconceivable, avyaktam, unmanifest, anantarupam, infinite forms, Brahma, prashantam, auspicious, prashantam, amrutam, immortal, so perfectly calm. Shivam is perfectly auspicious. Prashantam is perfectly calm. And Amritam is immortal. God is said to be immortal. Brahma Yonim, womb of Brahma, the creator. And also without beginning, middle and end. God has no beginning, no middle, no end. Adi Madhyanta. Anta means end, Adi means beginning, Madhya means middle. Without beginning, middle and end. And one, Ekam. God is said to be one. Ekam. Vibhum. Vibhum means all pervading. Vibhum. Ekam, one, Vibhum, all pervading. God is everywhere. Chidanandam, Chit Ananda. Chit means knowledge, awareness, consciousness. Chidanandam, Anandam. God is not suffering. God is not sorrow, melancholy. God is the embodiment of bliss, happiness, peace. Chidanandam, Arupam, formless. Infinite forms one side, formless other side. The definitions, descriptions. Formless. Adbhutam. Adbhutam means wonderful. God is said to be wonderful. Great wonder. Ascharya. Adbhutam. That is the definitions, descriptions. So we have covered till the Prashantam. I think last class we covered the definitions or descriptions until Prashantam. So Achintyam we covered. Achintyam means simple, as unthinkable, inconceivable. You can't understand with your intellect what is God is. Inconceivable. God is not an object of comprehension. God is the subject in you which helps the intellect to comprehend various things, to understand various things. Our intellect can declare, I don't understand. Understanding or not understanding are the activities of the intellect. But intellect cannot function without the Atman, the God, enabling the intellect to function. Therefore, God is, the Brahman is the subject in the intellect to makes the intellect to think. Therefore, God is said to be inconceivable. Brahman is the pure consciousness which enlivens the senses to perceive and act. So, your body is perceiving sense objects, mind is feeling various emotions, happiness and sorrow. The mind capacity to feel is the mind's function. Manasu. Within you, your mind has the love or hatred, anger or kindness, jealousy, greed. These are all the passions, affection, all in the realm of the mind. But the mind cannot feel any emotion without the help of Atman, God within the mind, helping the mind to feel the emotions. But entire humanity is lost in the emotions, not able to understand the very source of that emotion, the mind, where the mind is feeling, what the mind is feeling. The mind is feeling with the help of the Atman, the Brahman, the Supreme God, helping the mind to feel. It is the subject of experience, not an object of experience. God is not an object of experience. God is subject within, which enables every experience to experience by your body, mind, and intellect. But the God cannot be experienceable because it's not an object of experience, it is a subject of experience. So you are the Atman, so you cannot experience objectively outside. You have to become the Atman by realization. These equipments of body, mind and intellect cannot reach Brahman. Therefore, Brahman cannot be reached by material components of the body, mind and intellect. You have to drop them and realize and become the Atman. That is Achintyam meaning. Similarly, Avyaktam, unmanifest. The wise sees Brahman where there is a world as the supreme unmanifest reality, Brahman and Brahman everywhere. The wise understands because he is eradicated his ignorance. His ignorance of the Supreme God is totally removed and he gained the knowledge of the self, the Atma Vidya. Therefore, he become wise and he can see the God, the Supreme Self as unmanifest reality and not the manifest world. The world is only an imaginary projection, a superimposition, a manifestation, an expression upon the substratum of Brahman, the Atman, and not the manifest reality. Like an undiluted person, which we studied, undiluted means a person who is not deluded, not confused. He understands the Brahman and Brahman alone. Like a child with imagination in the dark projects a snake where there is a rope. But you understand with your understanding of your knowledge, you put the rope there where the child is seeing a snake. Similarly, the sages and saints who understands this fantastic phenomena of this world as a Brahman and Brahman only as expression is the manifest, but God is the unmanifest reality, the supreme reality. The world is only a illusory projection, a imaginary projection which doesn't exist. Just as the snake never existed on the rope. But in the dark, a child foolishly imagines and runs after and gets bitten by snake. Where you switch on the light and see there is rope and rope alone. There has never been a snake. Similarly, the enlightened masters, time and again, they have been communicating. Sarvam Ramamayam. Everything is divine. Everything is God. There is only one God alone exists. Nothing else. But why we are caught up? Because of ignorance and imaginary projection of this world, of ignorance, deluded we are. Being delusion, confusion, chaos of ignorance of the self, we projected this fantastic, beautiful world of plurality, diversity, and then we got caught up in this world. This is because of lack of knowledge, lack of wisdom, lack of understanding. Another example you can understand, very, very simple. There is a person called Banerjee. There is a Banerjee. As long as you recognize Banerjee as Banerjee, you have no problems, no issues. But if you not understand, if you do not understand Banerjee as Banerjee, if you do not recognize Banerjee as Banerjee, that not understanding, not recognizing Banerjee as Banerjee could possibly project a misunderstandings of possibly a Chatterjee or Mukherjee. Carefully understand. There is Banerjee and Banerjee alone. If you understand Banerjee as Banerjee, no problems. But if you not understand, if you don't recognize Banerjee as Banerjee, that not recognizing Banerjee, not understanding non-comprehension, non-understanding of Banerjee could create misunderstandings of two varieties or three, depending upon your capacity, your nature. Could be projected as Chatterjee or Mukherjee. Where from that Chatterjee and Mukherjee come from? The Chatterjee and Mukherjee come from misunderstandings because of non-understanding of Banerjee as Banerjee. This is the worst tragedy happened to entire humanity. There is God and God alone exists. There is Brahman and Brahman alone exists. Supreme Self, the Atman. Because of not understanding, not recognizing God, Brahman and Brahman alone, that not understanding Brahman, not understanding the Supreme God, could lead to misunderstandings. That misunderstanding is this fantastic pluralistic diversity of things and beings. The entire world of plurality, the plants, animals, and human beings, all this phenomena of the world is projected upon the ignorance of Brahman. But once you get the wisdom of Atma Vidya, Brahma Vidya, once you gain the knowledge of the Supreme Self within you, the world disappears and God appears. Everybody is asking, sir, I want darshan of God. I wanted to have a vision of God. I want to reach God. I want to gain that ultimate enlightenment. You cannot get until you remove this ignorance of the reality, ignorance of what you are, who you are. You have to remove that ignorance. Then only, that is called wise. Wise people see Brahman, unmanifest, as the supreme unmanifest reality and not this manifest world of plurality. Like an undeluded person sees a rope, undeluded, unconfused person sees a rope as and rope alone and not an illusory, imaginary snake projected upon it. Similarly, another definition of God is Ananta Rupam. Ananta Rupam means infinite forms. The moment you misunderstand as the Banerjee, if you don't understand Banerjee as Banerjee, you could project Chatterjee or Mukherjee or any number of persons out of that not understanding Banerjee and Banerjee. That could cause any number of misunderstandings. Similarly, these infinite forms, infinite gods and goddesses, all are projected upon that one Brahman, immaculate self. The deluded do not see the unmanifest Brahman behind this manifestation of world of plurality. The infinite forms have emerged from that one reality. There is only one reality. Because of the delusion, because of the imagination, he caught up in the delusion, ignorance, the deluded, therefore perceive Brahman as infinite forms, infinite manifested forms, infinite akaras, namarupas. You can understand the deluded see. There is a goldsmith, you go to the shop of jewelry shop. You see all varieties of gold ornaments. There is a nose ring, ear ring, all varieties of anklets, bracelets, hand rings, fingers. Everything is there. But the goldsmith sees only one. What is that? The metal gold only, nothing else. Everywhere gold he sees. But the ignorant person, deluded person, confused person, he gets fascinated, attracted to the varieties of the Namarupas. Oh, that is so attractive. That necklace is gold. That is so nice on me. That bracelet is gold. It is so nice on me. So he gets into this diversity, variety of the ornaments because of the nama rupas, infinite names and forms. All are made up of one gold and gold only. Similarly, friends, we are all the infinite forms. We are caught up, and what is the behind is the source, the substratum, the foundation is the Atman and Atman alone, the God and God alone. Gain that perception, understand that unmanifest reality behind this Ananta Rupa, infinite forms and infinite names. It is just a Nama Rupa. The moment you melt this name and form, it goes back to that infinite reality, the Supreme Self, the Atman. The moment you melt any ornament in the heat of fire, the entire anklet, bracelet melts into one gold metal, and then that gold metal again can be created additional variety of names and forms of the ornaments by goldsmith. Therefore, goldsmith understands the metal behind these ornaments. Similarly, the sage, the wisdom, once you gain the knowledge of the Supreme Self, you see all the names and forms are nothing but imaginary, illusory projections upon that unmanifest God and God alone. The moment you remove this name, Nama Rupa, what remains is the Supreme God, the Atman, the Self alone. Ananta Rupam of infinite forms, the deluded do not see the unmanifest Brahman behind the manifest world of plurality. The infinite forms have emerged from the one reality through delusion. The deluded therefore perceive Brahman as in its infinite manifest forms. The deluded perceive Brahman in its infinite manifest forms. He thinks manifest forms are Brahman because of delusion. Shivam means auspicious. Brahman is the sacred ideal. The ideal is the goal beyond your selfish, self-centered interests. A goal or a cause beyond your ego and egocentric desires is called an ideal. God is the supreme ideal, the ultimate goal of all goals of human being to be aspired to reach it. There is no bigger goal, the target, the ultimate aim, aspiration of a human being is the God and God alone, which is in the layman's terms, the moksha, mukti, liberation. That is the Brahman, and Brahman Shivam, auspicious, is the sacred ideal of human mission. The human being is born to be a human being only one purpose. Many is asking, what is the goal of human being? The goal of human being is only today is materiality and sensuality, and just to get settled in the world like any animal. Living up to the animal is just to acquiring and enjoying and dying. What is that every animal does? It is just acquiring money, wealth, name, acquiring food and enjoy and just die. Every human being today caught up in the same rat race of running after the wealth, worldly pursuits, and get world as an end in itself. There is no beyond perception. What is the purpose of human birth? Who am I? Why did I born like this? What is the secret of this life? Who is behind this creation? Is there any person who is manufacturing all these planets and this creation, this universe, why this is like this? There is no inquiry at all. All are stagnated like a complacency, like a pig's contentment. Whatever you are, wherever you are, if you don't investigate the secret, the purpose of human existence, why are you born as a human being? You are living a subhuman species, because the animal has no capacity to think, to question, but you are not using your full potential as a human being only to inquire, to investigate. The very source of life is provided to human being alone by the virtue of your intellect, the buddhi, the questioning, the analyzing, the reasoning, the inquiry, the decision making. The thinking equipment is given to only human being. And this equipment is totally neglected to a point of grievous fault. And the fall of human intellect has been completely came to a standstill because of the stagnation of complacency. It is called in Sanskritam, it is called tamas. Tamas means that sleep, laziness, intellectual fatigue. Intellect is completely unutilized, undeveloped, alpa buddhi. It is called low intellect. Weak intellect is the condition of human being, and caught up in all the whims and fancies and stress and strain and pulled in all directions and suffer, and not able to realize the greatness of this human birth. So here is that he is telling the greatest mission, the ultimate aim, the goal of human mission is to gain the Brahman, the ideal, the sacred ideal, the purest of the pure, highest of the high, the supreme goal, ultimate goal of human existence. Therefore, it is auspicious, it is Shivam, it is very, very highest nature of its very, very core of its content, essence is the ultimate reality, God, Brahman. Therefore, it is Shivam, auspicious. Why it is auspicious? There is no bigger goal than the Brahman, the Atman. That is the idea. Prashantam. Prashantam means perfectly calm, supremely calm. The state of Brahman is reached when the mind is absolutely calm, totally desireless. So, the desires cause you, especially selfish desires, more agitations. Unselfish desires, less agitations. No desires, peace. So everybody wanted peace and happiness, not realizing the very source of peace is within you, but you have not understood where is the peace, and you are in pieces, in suffering, in stress and worry because of the desires. So the state of Brahman is desireless, absolutely calm, composed. So the moment you gain the knowledge of Brahman and eradicate the ignorance and ignorance-born desires, make the mind free from all desires, then you reach the state of Brahman. Then only you gain the perfect calmness, tranquility, peace and stability. There is no other way. So seeker attains enlightenment only at that state of tranquility. So prashantam, shantam means peace. Prashantam means supremely peace, ultimate peace. Amrutam, mrutam means death. Mrutam means death. Death implies, what is death implies? The death implies birth. Birth implies death. There is no death without birth. There is no birth without death. Therefore, every human being is caught up. What? Birth and death and birth and death and birth and death. This cycle going on. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jatare shayanam. Bhajagovinda. Iha samsare bahudustare, krupaya pare, pahi murare. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jatare shayanam. Iha samsare bahudustare, krupaya pare, pahi murare. Repeated birth, repeated death, repeatedly lying in the mother's womb and suffering, and what is that happening to every human being? Birth, crawling, walking, talking, school, college, job, marriage, produce children, do all sorts of blunders and die one day, come back to the same position where he left. Again, birth, growth, crawling, walking, talking, school, college, job, and series of blunders and die. Again, come back. This cycle goes on until unless you apply your intellect. Why I have to caught up in this mad cycle? Is there anything beyond this cycle? That is the beauty and dignity and prestige of a rarest of rare human being who can think. Is there anything beyond of this mad cycle I should go through? That kind of a person can fix and identify and try to pursue and reach it. What is that? Immortality, birthless, deathless state. More amrutam means deathless, mrutam means death, which means birthless. Birth and death bring about the change. So everybody is caught up in this changing phenomena, and your goal is to be changeless, which is the enlightenment, realization. Where there is no birth and death, there is no change. Birth and death is simply an indication of change of state. You are born, you are growing, a childhood, youth, old age and death. All these changes are happening within the body. Similarly, the mind is changing various emotions. Intellect is changing various thoughts and ideas. Nothing is static in this world, within you or outside. Objects and beings are changing. Therefore, what is the changeless entity in the changing phenomena is the Atman, the Brahman, the Supreme God. You have to get to that state. The self within remains the changeless. It is the changeless entity, changeless substratum, changeless hub around which the wheel rotates, of the world rotates. So the self within remains ever changeless, with reference to which the changes occurring in the body, mind and intellect. You simply analyze. You can recognize your body is changing. The law is very simple. You can't recognize any change without the observation from the changeless substratum, changeless support, changeless entity only helps the changing phenomena to be noticed. To notice any changes, to recognize any changes, you have to be on the changeless ground. For example, if you go to the railway station, you see the trains are coming and going because you are on the platform of changeless station. You are standing on the platform. Therefore, you can see how many trains gone, how many trains coming. Similarly, if you are inside the train itself moving, how can you recognize any change? So you yourself in change, therefore you can't recognize. Therefore, it is a scientific fact that you need a changeless entity to recognize, to notice any changes. Now apply the same principle, same phenomena to your personality. to understand what is the changeless entity in you. The world is changing with reference to physical body. And you see, I am there, now I am in so-and-so place and I am going to so-and-so place. So you are in Hyderabad and you have come to Visakhapatnam, but you are there as a person of the body. So from the body standpoint, the environment is changing and body is changeless. Let us go from the known to the unknown. Now go back to the body and observe the body. What was the body when you are born? When you came from the mother's womb, you are only a 9 inches baby. The moment you slowly, from the infancy, from the child, infancy to become child, you grown up like a small baby. Then you grown as a teenager. Then you grown as an adult. So the body is changing. You see what was the photograph of your own photograph of the body when you are a child and when you are a youth and you are an adult. The changes of the physical body, who is noticing? Who is recognizing within you? It is your mind. Your mind is noticing. You feel, you say, yes, this is the body. This is the body when I am 5 years old. This is the body I am in 10 years old. This is the person I am 15, 20, 30, whatever the number of years. Then go back. Who recognizes is the mind? But can we say the mind is a constant factor? The mind is the seat of emotions. Mind is seat of feelings. The feelings are positive and negative. Positive feelings are love, happiness. Negative feelings are sorrow, hatred, jealousy, envy, arrogance, ego, fear, anger. All these you are keep on experiencing. Those experiencing equipment is the mind. But what is that emotion and what is the emotion fluctuations? Who is recognizing those emotions? Yes, now I am angry. Yes, now I am very happy. Now I am very jealous. All these you are noticing. You are recognizing. Who is that? Who is recognizing? Who is noticing? Come back to the platform and the train example. You see the changeless entity in you is the intellect. With reference to the intellect, buddhi, the minds and the bodies and environment fluctuations you are able to recognize. You are able to notice. You are able to observe. You are able to measure. You are able to understand the changes happening within your personality, individuality. Now question is the intellect is constant factor? Is the intellect is fixed one? If you analyze, the intellect itself is made up of various thoughts and ideas. What type of intellect, what type of ideas you entertained when you are a child? All the time you are entertained how this toy, how to manufacture this toy as long as you are a child. How to make the toy, how to make the kite, how to make the, this kind of a small ball or bat or anything. You must think, you are thinking all the time. Now your intellect is developed to a teenager. Teenagers have a teenage planning, thinking, programming, analyzing, puzzles, various video games and all planning, programming at the level of the gross intellect. So you have various thoughts and ideas at the planning and programming at the teenage and the adult. Now you have a different studies. You are studying as a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer or a scholar or a teacher. Your ideas, your thoughts, your analysis, your reasoning abilities, your capabilities of thinking has been changed. That changing in everything is going on. Who is noticing? Who is recognizing? Who is observing? The intellect has observation. That observation intellect is called subtle intellect, Sukshma Buddhi. So there is a subtle intellect, there is a gross intellect. Gross intellect operates in the worldly subjects of science and technology. The subtle intellect is the intellect which differentiates, which thinks between the self Atman and the world, the reality and the unreality, the God and the world, the permanent and impermanent. This differentiation is the Sukshma Buddhi, Tikshna Buddhi. Tikshna Buddhi is the gross intellect, Sukshma Buddhi is the subtle intellect. With the Sukshma Buddhi, you are able to see the gross changes of the gross intellect and see the mind changes, see the body changes, and subtle intellect is there. Subtle intellect is that which points towards the Supreme Self. Therefore, now what is the fixation of the changeless entity in you? Beyond the subtle intellect is the real and only changeless entity is called the Atman, the Supreme Self. From that standpoint, all the personality has been changing. This is observed by you. Therefore, you see, when you are in deep sleep, you yourself say and you declare once you wake up, I had a sound sleep. I enjoyed sleep like anything. But where are you? You are not there. But who is declaring? You are declaring. How can you declare when you are not there? Therefore, when you are in deep sleep, when you are in dreamless sleep, one aspect of you, which is the Atman ever observing, noticing, recognizing, Atman ever steady, Atman never sleeps. Your body, mind and intellect, your mind and intellect sleeps. Mind and intellect awake, you are in the waking state. Mind and intellect dreaming, you are in the dream state. Mind and intellect unconscious, completely shut down, Manasu Buddhi, you are in the deep sleep, dreamless sleep. But the Atman is traveling, Atman is there in every state of consciousness, waking, dream and deep sleep. All are having Atman and Atman alone. Atman has never been changed. It is the changeless substratum. That Atman, that Supreme God, the Self you are, that is the immortal entity in you. The moment you recognize Atman, if you find the Atman, if you notice the Atman, if you understand the Atman and gain the Atman, you become enlightened. You reach the supreme state of enlightenment. That is a state of immortality. That is the state of birthless, deathless state you reach only when you recognize the Atman and establish the Atman and become Atman. Because Atman is the changeless entity. So your goal is to reach the Brahaman, the Supreme God, the Atman. That is the real immortality. That's why that is said to be deathless and birthless. The self within remains ever changeless, ever birthless and deathless, with reference to the changing occurs in the body, mind and intellect. So Shariram will be changing and dying also, and new body will come. Mind and intellect also changing, but the mind and intellect changes and it takes new bodies after death and births also. So mind and intellect also changing, and mind and intellect also taking new bodies. That is the birth and death and birth and death. Mind is constant with reference to the birth and death. When the seeker identifies with the self, only when you go beyond the body, think beyond the mind, and think beyond the intellect. Once you reach beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond the intellect, lies your essential self. That's the self, Atman, you have to be fixed. Then you will be able to get to the state of immortality. Immortality means no mortality, means no death, no birth. That is the state you reach. So when you identify as a seeker, recognize, notice the self within, the Atman within, then only you become changeless reality, Brahman, the Atman. Then comes the Brahmayonim. What is Brahmayonim? Next definition of God, Brahmayonim. It is the womb of Brahma, the creator. So the world is expressed as three gods. world is defined and expressed as three gods. These are the three, not the physically available gods. It is only three facets of world. The three facets are creation, destruction, and maintenance. So world is made up of three aspects, three facets, three expressions: creation, destruction, maintenance. Everything in the world has to display these three characteristics. What are the three? Creation, destruction, maintenance. These three are personified as the three gods sitting somewhere, but actually it is not true. It's only intellectual concepts and understanding. What is that? Brahma, the creator; Maheshwara, the destroyer; Vishnu, the maintainer. So creator, destroyer, and maintainer, all the three are the three concepts of this world made up of. If you remove the world, if you remove anything, the world disappears. There is no world without creation. There is no world without maintenance. There is no world without destruction. World means creation, destruction, maintenance. For example, your body, take your body. The childhood is created, boyhood, infancy is destroyed, childhood is created. Childhood destroyed, youth is created. Youth is destroyed, old age is, adulthood is created. Adulthood destroyed, old age is created. So in this creation and destruction, you are maintained, your body is maintained. Similarly, in the year, the summer is there, summer is destroyed, autumn is born, autumn is created. Autumn is destroyed, winter is born, winter is destroyed, again rainy season. So all these seasons, in these seasons, the year is maintained. Similarly, morning destroyed, afternoon is born, afternoon destroyed, evening is created, evening destroyed, night is created. This night and day, the day is maintained, the total day is maintained. Similarly, everything is an expression of these three. Even if you have this, there is a thing called pen. If you have pen or pencil, the pen or pencil is made up of cap and this thing. Imagine there is one. This one can be made into two. What is that two? It becomes two. There are two pieces. Now you can look at it as two created or one destroyed into two. Both how you look at it. If you look at it, one made it into two, one is created into two, or one is destroyed into two. But without the creation and destruction, without maintaining, this has been maintained first to create or destroy. So the creation, destruction, maintenance, all the three expressions of the Brahman, the world. So Lord Brahma is said to be the creator from whom the creation emerged. So the supreme reality, Brahman. So what is the source of this creation, destruction, maintenance of this world? The source is the Brahman, the Atman. Without the Atman, without God, without the Brahman, without the Supreme Self, this world of creation, destruction, maintenance cannot exist. Without the ocean, there is no wave, there is no creation of the wave, maintaining the wave, destruction of the waves on the surface of the ocean. It is because of the ocean the waves are existing. Waves are emerging, waves are dying. Similarly, without the gold metal, there is no ornaments possibility of emerging and disappearing. Every aspect in the world is because of the source. Without the electricity, there is no electrical gadgets, there is no electrical equipment. So the electricity, the ocean is the source of all the waves. Similarly, the Brahman, the Supreme Self, the Atman is the source for these various varieties of this phenomena of this world of plurality, diversity, heterogeneity has been the living beings, things and beings, the flora and fauna, the rivers, the valleys, the mountains, the planets, the galaxies, the sun, the moon, the stars, all are there because of the created, because of the Brahman. Brahman is the source for the creator called Brahma. Therefore, it is said to be Brahman is the womb. Brahman, the Supreme God, is the womb of this Brahma. Brahma is the creator, Lord, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. For the Brahma to be born, you need Brahman, the Supreme God, the Atman, the Self, the reality. Hence it is referred as womb of Brahma. Womb of Brahma. So womb means the source, the very what is that? The very ultimate reality, the very cause from which the Brahma is coming. The snake is projected because of the rope. If there is no rope at all, there is the existence of the rope. The existence of the rope is the cause for this misunderstandings of various snakes and reptiles and cracks and all this possibility because of the existence. Similarly, because of the existence of Brahman, the Brahma is created, projected. This is the understanding. The next, Adi Madhyanta Vihinam, without beginning, middle and end. This and following definitions we will study in the next class. Thank you very much. Hari Om.